Hello, 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 beautiful people. How are you? I hope you're all doing well. Matt, hopefully, is going to join us. You know that he always loves to be late with his cup of tea in this very cold Sunday morning from Toronto. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. There is so much going on. Let me know where you're watching from, and I hope you can join. Be respectful in the chat. And we're going to get into things today because there is so much going on right now. We have the the Epstein files. I said Markle file. The Epstein files, nobody's safe with those files, especially Rachel, Meghan Markle. Their royal family is sure as hell taking a beating. It turns out that Macron is gay. I mean, but I was surprised about Macron being gay. And I mean the husband, well, they're both husbands. Well, I don't mean Brigitte. I mean the other Macron, Turns out that he's gay, but we're not surprised by it, are we? So let me know what you think about Macron being gay, because I think we all knew it, right, guys? I mean, the writing was clearly on the wall. So I don't know what to tell you. If people still think that man is not gay, it's because it's kind of gross, really. And so much going on with Stammer, the British people, people heckling the monarch, Erica Kirk. That it is so much going on, and I'm just so happy that you guys are here, and we're gonna get into all of that. We've seen Meghan Markle gracing the green carpet or whatever of a D-list event. That's the best that a royal title could get this woman. A D-list event surrounded by D-list celebrities. How the mighty have fallen. And now we find out that there's so many people involved in Jeffrey Epstein's files. Mette-Marit of Norway. We have Håkon literally saying, Håkon is the future, if there is a monarchy in Norway left, saying that his first priority to support Marius, this incredibly, brutally violent man, because he's a man. He's almost 30 now. And then Ingrid Alexandra, the so-called future queen of Norway, issuing an almost 6-page statement. What the hell is wrong with these people? Just like Brooklyn Beckham. And she's just ranting, pretending that they're the victims. It goes to show how the elites are, what they think of us. Because when Håkon goes before the press, I can tell you from an insider that he was told not to give any statements. Oh no, but he had to come out and give a statement saying that his first priority is to support Marius. He didn't say something like, well, this is an ongoing judicial process. We respect the law. We have to do everything by the law. So we're waiting the outcome. We can't really talk about it. Mette-Marit, now there's a 2018, December 24th, 2018 email. So she was spending Christmas with 2018. She was spending Christmas with Jeffrey, apparently. Mother of the year. So it is, what we're witnessing here is insane. Thank you, Darlene, for becoming a new member. Hopefully Matt is not that hungover and he can come here, and I hope he's okay. Oh, there we go. Hello, Matt.
Paula, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Where were you?
I'm sorry, I've literally got off my bike about 9 minutes ago. I just did a turbo shower there. I'm still soaking wet, so I apologize.
That's okay. So what do we make of everything? All the Epstein files, everybody's in on it, at Håkon, Mette-Marit of Norway. And, I will just say, Håkon, who's to be the next king of Norway, issued a verbal statement, an interview. He was advised not to, man. He was told, shut up, Jones. Yes, of course. And he was told not to say anything because his stepson is facing 38 criminal counts, for them being rape and beating women up. Okay. So he goes and says, my first priority here is that we support Marius. Marius is this monster, this tattooed, horrible monster. And then, of course, look at my own herd, my flock, which is the future queen of Norway, his daughter, and the other little stepson, and Mette-Marit, who literally was with Epstein all the way. Even Epstein qualified her as a mess and a nutcase. Epstein.
Yeah, not really the type of guy who, if he thinks you're a nutcase, something's desperately gone wrong, hasn't it? that's bad, that.
And how was you in the neck of the woods? I've seen you've been very active on X. What's going on with Stammer and the UK? Why is that man not out of power? I don't get it.
Well, I called it right if you've been listening, because I told him he wouldn't go. I said there's no way. They'll fire his aide or someone. They'll have a fall guy. And he'll resign, and then Starmer will cling on. Because what he's proven in the last couple of years is he's totally shameless. The man has like no moral character at all. I think he's the worst prime minister in British history. That's how much of a snake he is. And we've had some creatures running things in the UK. I think he's the most immoral and deceptive that we've ever had. So I knew he wouldn't go. A man with that base of a character obviously isn't going to quit, is he? He's going to cling on like an evil leech.
Like a Klingon.
Like a limpet. Yeah, like a barnacle on the hull of a sinking ship. So he's not going to go until May. May, they'll have local and council elections. There's quite a large spate of elections in the UK in May. And obviously, because the creature is going to be in office, Labour's going to get decimated, like destroyed. So he'll go then. But he'll have to be dragged out kicking and screaming by his own party. He hasn't got the moral fibre to leave on his own accord.
But King Charles could dissolve Parliament and force them to elect a new PM. That's one of his powers. That's one of his superpowers. Why isn't he employing this superpower?
Well, because he's a creature as well, isn't he? I told you that my title as a monarchist died with Queen Elizabeth. It's a shame because it's an institution that we broadly, the British people broadly, supported. But they've killed it. They've killed it. And the Epstein files were just the nails in the coffin. The surviving royals have got no backbone, no integrity, no willingness to exercise any of those powers to do the right thing. They just want to preserve the institution at all costs. And when you become obsessed with preserving the institution instead of obsessed with doing your duty, then you're not worth keeping around. So I don't care anymore. I don't care about the monarchy. And I don't expect any of them to do anything. I don't expect any of them to get themselves involved. What they're going to try and do is do what they've always done, which is never offer any explanations. That was their sort of mantra. Don't explain, don't apologise. Well, it doesn't work anymore because of the Epstein leaks and various other scandals for the last 2 decades. It doesn't work anymore. Now we want an explanation and they can't give us one. So King Charles, the big-eared boy, is doing his best to do what they always do, which is sit it out and pretend there's nothing happening, nothing to see here. Don't explain, don't apologise. But
never complain, never explain.
Yeah, and it's not going to work. Not going to work. So they're in trouble. But that's why he's not doing anything. He's following the mantra that served them so well, isn't he?
Well, the thing is, though, I don't think that they're concerned about keeping the monarchy. I think they're concerned about keeping the titles, which is different because Beatrice and Eugenie are agonizing. They're agonizing whether to distance themselves publicly with their father and mother. I mean, and they work with really vulnerable women in organizations that are trafficked. And here we have Eugenie and Beatrice. Because Andrew is not there and the king is being heckled, and I think he was moved to Sandringham, and the staff refused to serve him, and then they put these posters that
I've seen the posters, yeah. Said danger, sweaty nods in the area. You know what, a lot of people who are British, I'll explain this for your American audience, you actually know why we call them a nonce. Do you know what that means?
No, nonce, no idiot.
No, it's an acronym. But you've seen it, right? That's what it said on the posters.
Danger, yeah, it does. It says
nonce. Sweaty nonce. Like spelt that, I'll put it in the chat, nonce. Well, what it stands for is when sex offenders and kitty fiddlers, when they
They-
go to prison, they're not allowed in the exercise room or the exercise yard, where they have like a big. You've seen it in all the movies. They have a
yeah,
big wide open area where they all pace round in the big yard,
yeah.
and that's called circular exercise. And they stamp a thing on the thing saying no non-circular exercise, because if they let them go out amongst the rest of the prisoners, Gen Pop, the prisoners will kill them. So the
That
reason
is
British
something
people
new.
call
So
them
that's
nonces,
an acronym.
an acronym, yeah, and it stands for non-circular exercise. That's where the word "nonce" comes from, and British people loving rules and regulations.
Well,
It
hack
became
my
like
legs and call me shorty. I learned a new thing today at 57 years old, 2026. Thank you,
yeah,
Matt.
that's why we call them a nonce. Yeah, so that's why it said sweaty nonce in the area. It means a nonce specifically is a kiddie fiddler. I never say the P word because YouTube hate that word.
It's
But
insane.
it's a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, we like the nice politically correct term, kiddie fiddler in the UK. But basically, yeah, that's what a nonce is. Yeah, that's why we use the term.
It is. Isn't that something though? And then we have Macron, who's now showed up, and they're mocking him that he's gay in Epstein's emails, and clearly Candace is having a field day.
Yeah. She is funny, Candace, isn't she? It's a weird thing, because it depends on. It doesn't seem to be just your political leanings, but everyone loves or hates Candace, don't they? She's like Marmite.
Yeah, but the thing is that what I admire about her is
Yeah.
that she is immune to reputational damage. It's like she'll say what she'll say, and she doesn't care whether she gets the likes or the hates. It's like, and I'll stand by it. It's like, whereas
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to talk because of public perception or what you might call it, press perception. And we're seeing this. I don't know if you saw this, two men who stabbed, or there was something going on at the trains in London.
Oh yeah, I did, yeah.
What was that about?
Just one of 10,000 incidents where foreign men are stabbing people to death on trains in the UK. The famous one was that Irina who got stabbed to death in America.
Oh, that's terrible, yeah.
But this is endemic across the entire Western world now. Like, low IQ foreign barbarians are killing innocent women in every country in the Western world because we collapsed the borders as this neoliberal project, and we moved tens of millions of fighting age men into Europe and America and Canada. It's
Canada, yeah,
Australia. Yeah. You can't find a Western country where this isn't happening. It's very simple, right? I can explain this very neatly because when I was on my bike, I was listening to David Starkey. David Starkey's brilliant, isn't he? That old English man. Like, very old men are my favourite ones to listen to. Like, because if you get past the age of like 70, you know things. This is the annoyance of talking to young people. When I talk to my nephew and he's like 18 and he's like, "Oh, you and me dad and me granddad are racist," and I'm like, "Yeah, because we're sensible."
Probably. When it comes to that, I am. I saw your post about this girl who was killed by a Nigerian or something like that. What was that?
Unbelievable. No, but what I'm saying is, I don't think I am racist, for starters. I'm not on an individual level. I never am. Like, I take people as individuals. But what they call racist, we all are. Anyone with a fully functioning brain, including loads of black people, are racist. Like, do you remember when they said Kanye West not black anymore? It's like they just decide what racism is. They go, "Oh, Kanye West not black. Candace Owens is a racist." It's like, Candace Owens is a racist. She hates black people, even though she is one. But Prince Harry definitely isn't a racist, even though he's ginger. Like, figure that one out.
Yeah.
But basically, it's old people know shit. There's a difference between intelligence and wisdom. It's why they're separate on Dungeons and Dragons, because you can be 17 and be extremely intelligent, but you've got zero wisdom. Wisdom comes from learning it with experience, hard-won experience. So when
learning from those experiences, Matt, because I've always given this analogy. Sorry to interrupt you. It's like, those horses, they have these things. So you can go, the horse can go in the most beautiful land in the world, places in the world. But if they only see that, it's like you don't go anywhere. It's not the same as if you're looking around and taking it in. That's the same thing with experience and knowledge. You can experience a lot of things, but if you don't grow from it, if you don't say shit, no.
Blinkers is the word you're
Yeah,
looking
the
for.
blinkers.
Like you meant
Thank
at
you,
home.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank
blinkers.
you.
Yeah, well, but you know what I'm saying? It's like that guy's like nearly 80, and he knows what he's talking about. And he said like the real mistake we've all made in the West, and he summed it up so well, is why I'm repeating it, is that we declared that there were universal human rights. And so many good philosophers and writers, people like Benjamin Disraeli, talked about it and said, of course there isn't. Of course there isn't, because they come from your little tribe, your little nation, your little hamlet, whatever, over thousands of years to get to where you are. And that's what makes this consensus. And I mean, to put my spin on what he said, the proof is in Afghanistan. We went to a country like Afghanistan. I mean, think of the arrogance and stupidity of these neoliberals. We went to an ancient tribal nation like Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And we thought all we have to do is turn up and spend 20 years, which is nothing. 20 years telling them universal human rights is a thing. Women should read. Women shouldn't do as they're told. We're all equal. And we thought they'd go, oh, okay then. Like it took them thousands of years to get. Not only do they not care, the men that run the place, the women don't care because they've been there for 28,000 years. So when they go, what? We should be going to school and doing interpretive dance class? Fuck off. That's what they say when some stupid liberal is telling a product of the foothills of the Hindu Kush. So Disraeli explained it in his own way, and Starkey, and I'm doing it with my analogy because I went to Afghanistan twice and see how these people live.
Thank you for your service, Matt. By the way, Matt is a proper soldier. Shut up and just say it.
But it's preposterous. It is preposterous to talk about universal human rights. There's different rights in different places. And human rights to an Iranian or an Afghan or a Somalian are very, very, very different to human rights to a Northern European or an Englishman. And they just import 10 million tribesmen from the foothills and go, universal human rights, boys. And then they go, whoa, hang on a sec. They've just sexually assaulted and beaten up and murdered 72,000 women in 4 years in Western Europe. And they go, why is this happening? Like, it's truly preposterous. Like, I genuinely don't understand how otherwise educated people haven't got two brain cells to rub together. Of course, it doesn't make any sense.
I went to a demonstration here in Toronto, immigration, anti-immigration. It's just, I got to tell you a story, Matt. And this actually happened to me. And you know what? I'm actually going to showcase that asshole. I'm going to go take a picture of his place and showcase him in my video, because I wanted to take I needed to take a photocopy of an Amazon order that, sometimes they don't send you the labels if you have to send it back. So I don't have a printer home. So I needed to get a printer, and I'm walking around all over Toronto. And I finally said, oh, go to this place. So I go, and the minimum charge for one, I just wanted one page, $10. And I said, that's fine. I need it, because you have a deadline to send that stupid thing, right? So I need it. So the guy is in the back. He's not seeing me. So I go and I say, excuse me, I need to, can you please print this thing for me, this one page for me, $10 print. I said, absolutely fine. And then he goes, he still hadn't seen me. And then he goes, well, can you send it to me by email? And I said, no problem. So I sent it to him by email. And then he goes, it's going to be half an hour. And when he's walking out, he goes, oh, you're a fucking woman. I was like, clearly I don't sound like a man. But what upset him is that I wasn't wearing a head cover. And he started, I thought there was a homeless or somebody else behind me, because he just went, you fucking, the things that he was, and then he curved his fists, right? And I just didn't look at him because I thought he was talking to somebody behind me. Because it never occurred to me that he was being that aggressive. And then when I see him almost come outside the counter, he was coming, and I look around. I'm the only one in the place. And I looked at him and I said to him, what's going on? He goes, get that. I think I even called Manuela. I called Manuela, my friend who's in the chat and stuff like that. And it's like, I was shaking. I literally left the place, and then he was calling me all kinds of names. And by the way, he stank. His personal hygiene.
Of
But
course,
he
he
was
stunk.
offended. He was offended, Matt, that I wasn't
Paula,
wearing
they
a head cover.
wipe their
Well,
ass with their hands. Of course, he stinks. That's right. They wipe their ass with their hands and they wash once a month. The stray dogs get washed more than these people.
But this one, okay, do you want to see what's worse? That was a verbal attack. Like the guy the only reason why he didn't punch me is because I managed to get out.
Yeah.
So I'm shaking, calling the Toronto police, right? The emergency. And the woman goes, "Oh, well, did he hit you?" I said, "No, because I managed to walk out." "Well, ma'am, there's no complaint here because he was asking you to leave his locale of employment." I'm like, are you serious?
It's
He was
unbelievable,
about
isn't it?
to hit me because I was not wearing a head cover as a woman, and I'm in the posh area here near Yorkville and stuff like that, right? And the police, "Oh, well, but he didn't hit you, did he?" "Oh, I'm sorry that I wasn't almost raped."
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable. And if he'd have called the police on you and said, "Oh yeah, she said I stink of curry," they'd have locked you up. They'd have locked you up, but they would though, wouldn't they? Because it's one rule for you and another rule for them. This two-tier justice has become a very common word in the last few years.
But I was shocked,
It's
Matt.
staggering. It's staggering. Look,
I thought the woman was, and I said to her, but he wasn't asking me to leave. I would have understood if he said, "Can you please leave?" And then I refused to leave. And then, of course, but this man came out of the woodwork almost punching me. The only reason he didn't get to me is because I left on time to, so he wouldn't hit me. But the woman he's just asking you to leave his local his place of employment, ma'am. It's like,
it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So what you're doing there, though, is backing up what I've just said.
Yeah.
Like human, universal. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a universal human. So there can't be universal human rights. And this stuff happens because they invite them over under the premise that there's a universal human. That would never, ever, ever, ever happen in England in the 1980s. My nana got to the ripe old age of 80 and no bloke ever went mental when she walked into his shop. That's because he's not from England. He's not from the Anglosphere where we learn. Because Canada is, especially Canada, England, Australia, New Zealand and America. America's the sort of older world because we got their independence in 1776. But those five nations, that would be unheard of in the 70s, the 80s. To have a random man do that, it's because he's a foreigner. There's no such thing as universal human rights. That would never, ever. You know this is true. You lived in England for a while.
But I lived in the posh area. I'm sorry. I lived in the posh area.
Would you go into a copy shop in Harrogate and say, "Can I have some paper, please?" And the man would be like, "Of course, madam. How can I help you?" We wouldn't go, "Oh, the dirty woman, get out of my shop." It wouldn't happen, would it? It just wouldn't happen.
No, I that's true. That's absolutely true. Even in the Hindu restaurants, when I would go and get curry, I wouldn't get that. But it's terrible. You know what? It is such a frustration. And I have a bad temper, so it just and the policewoman, she could hear me. She goes, "Don't shout at me." And I said, "Well, I'm not shouting. I'm hard of hearing to begin with. I apologize if I something say, but it's just like I should get a hearing aid." And then it's like, I know I've been saying this for a couple of years, but I just refuse to do it. But Matt, it is insane. So I went to that demonstration here in Toronto, and the people attacked the policemen. They punched the policewomen. It was horrible.
Mental. The craziest thing is how they're them. Because obviously it's in Canada, so it's shared culture and history and border with America, so it's going to bleed over to there, these anti-ICE protests. So it's going to happen, and it's going to get worse because we've allowed it to. So, but,
absolutely, Matt. I'll give you, and you know what really bothers me, because this is when I was working as a diplomat, and I had to go on a trip to a Muslim country, and I was the head of the delegation. They were getting money. I'm the one they had to convince to get the money, right? So we go to the meeting, and then later there's usually a reception, and they order this at this restaurant. I couldn't go because women were not allowed in to eat with the men.
Of course
And
not.
and I had to wear a head thing. Like they're getting money from us, so we're respectful of them. They come to Canada or whatever, and they want to be wearing the burqas and stuff like that. And I go to a place in Yorkville here, and I get attacked for being in my country. You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand what there's. If you're in, I'll apply the mom's thing. If you're in my home, what did your mom used to tell you? If you're in my home, buddy,
when in Rome, do as the Romans do, is what the English always said. And
but
they
you know
bloody
what?
invaded England. But that's what we used to say. When in Rome, and they don't do it. They move to. It sounds like they call it a racist dog whistle, but it's so obviously logically true that it's a rational thing to say to them. Is when people say, if you want that, why don't you go home? I don't understand how that's not like just a black and white logical premise. Like they flee places like Pakistan and Bangladesh because they concede it's a shithole. And then they go to Canada and England and they go, you know what we should do? Bulldoze all those old churches and all those old dancing halls and theatres and build a load of those big, ugly, bell end shaped religious buildings they like so much. I don't even say the M word either. And let's build 10,000 of them. And I'm just sat here going, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't move to the United States from England and think of the worst aspects of England and go, let's build them here. We don't do it. I come over to America and there's new things that I haven't seen, like barbecue smokehouses that make fantastic ribs. And I don't go, get rid of that. Put in what's shit in England. Put in a council estate full of Pakistanis. I don't say that. I say, I'll tell you what, we'll keep this. It's good. They move to the first world because they don't like the third world. And then when they get here, they go, now we have to make it more like the place we just left. I seen a load of Mexicans on X yesterday going, oh, Mexico's the best country in the world. It's amazing.
Go
and
back.
the conservative report's like, so why are you here then? And they go, oh, there's more opportunities here. And he goes, yeah. And the opportunities are there because it's safe.
No,
What do
because
you
the
think's
way of
gonna
life,
happen?
because the way of life and culture allows it to be more opportunities.
Yeah, but the point he's
This is
making
the whole
is
thing, that the way of life
opportunity.
and culture allows and fosters those opportunities. This is why you don't have them in Mexico or Mexico, like Bush used to say.
Yeah, but this guy says, oh, there's nothing wrong with Mexico. It's brilliant. It's amazing. He's like, so why go back there then? He's like, oh, no, there's more opportunities here. So then he says, okay, should we have borders or not? And he's like, no, get rid of the borders. And he goes, okay. You see the guy's brain break when he asks him the question. He goes, okay, so let's have it. You love Mexico, but there's more opportunities here. And there's opportunities here because of our culture and way of life and safety and policing the streets. If we collapse the borders and all of the cartels and the gangsters and the drug dealers and the pedos move to America, what's going to happen then? And he goes, does not compute. Like, these people are just stupid.
It makes me angry though, Matt. And then you have the king who is pro-Muslim. I mean, you have the Church of England. Did you know that he was serving fucking halal meat at the?
Oh yeah.
Because Lauren the Insider, she did a great video, right? And she literally exposed in writing. She got it in writing that they serve halal meat at Buckingham Palace or the Orangery, and they don't even advertise it. They don't give you the option for you to decide whether or not you want it halal. It's like you'll get it.
This is why people like me and you don't have big platforms. We never will, because we don't play the game. You have to be polite, don't you, all the time? This is the political stitch-up they've made. Oh, I say, old boy. No, if that was me, I'd say, here, jug lug. I'm not eating that shit. I'd rather lick a camel's balls, just cut out the middleman and go straight to the camel's nutsack.
If you don't know, Matt, because they don't advertise that it's halal meat.
That's why they don't tell you. Yeah, that's what I'd say to him. I'd say, cut out the middleman, just bring a camel in and I'll lick its balls. Just cut out the middleman, get rid of the chef. Save us some money. But the thing is, this has been well known about Prince Charles for many, many years. Like, everybody knows Prince Charles was a secret. I don't want to say the I word. I'm so used to not saying it. An Islamophile is the word.
Okay.
Christopher Hitchens has always called him that. This is 25 years ago. Christopher Hitchens is a famous anti-monarchist, and he said, I'm not a monarchist, but even I'll confess, the current queen has a certain likability and a charm. He
I
goes,
love
even
the
I'll
Queen. You
confess
know
that.
that I'm a die-hard Queen
Yeah,
here.
well, I liked her. And this is what he said. He said, even I'll confess, the current monarch, the Queen, has a certain charm. He goes, but when she dies, she's going to be replaced by a simpering, jug-eared Islamophile son. So we knew that he was had a soft spot for the religion of many, many pieces. He always has done. And that demonic little portrait they've done of him. It's like because he's worshipping at the altar of Baal or Allah or whatever it is. The man is not fit to sit the throne.
Well, look at the woman he chose.
Horse face. Yeah. He had a beautiful English rose and he went with horse face. Clearly a mental case. Diane was out kissing babies with AIDS when she went, and he ditched her to get with some raddled. Look at the state of her. Proper horse face. She's a howling bit of kit. Her. It's unbelievable. Like I said, I've got no respect for Prince Charles. I don't even call him the king. Prince Charles is a wanker. Because as far as I'm died, the monarchy died with the Queen, so he's Prince Charles. He'll never be the king. And he'll probably end the monarchy as we know it. Because like I said, I was always a reluctant monarchist. I had no interest in changing a tradition that stood for 1,000 years.
But this is like what we have. King Charles VIII oversaw royal protection at Epstein's home. Email claims. So basically, they were allowing. Actually, Epstein allowed them to stay there for a whole week.
Unbelievable.
This is after he was convicted. They all know. You know what I mean?
It's only going to get worse. There'll be more leaks. They're rotten to the core. They're rotten to the core. Andrew is he's worse than anyone imagined. They were saying how he went through like 40 hookers in like 4 days.
4 days. That's Andrew Lowney. I interviewed him.
Degenerate.
If you want to interview him in your channel, let me know so I can arrange it for you to interview him because he has great stories.
Has he? I don't do much royal stuff, as you know. I do more juvenile insults.
But right now it's about. For me, the royal stuff is not really about that. Somebody asked me why I was doing it, right? And I said, it's because they are a very public symptom of how corrupt everything is. They represent an organization with incredible influence and power without accountability. And we're seeing what happens with that because the parliament, they wash their hands off of whatever it is that they're not subject to FOI, freedom of information. It's like, excuse me?
Yeah, they're not subject to it. It's ridiculous.
It's like, I don't understand it. So for me, because I work with a lot of people, diplomats and stuff like that, I was like, this is sick because all organizations, they have a fail-safe audit kind of thing, where you check like checks and balances. But these, they don't. We have Harry, people praising him. Oh, no, but we're not going to take away that he served 10 years in the military. And I thought immediately of you because this man, the only time that was announced that he was going to get a drug test, he was required at Buckingham Palace. So he skipped that drug test. Mm-hmm. While his mate didn't pass the drug test and was kicked out of the military.
Yeah. One rule. Well, I mean, that.
Were you warned? I just want to, because people have told me, well, they do that. Were you always warned when you're going to get a drug test, or did they give you a little cup and say piss and let us know what? And they will let you know.
They turn up right when you get a drugs test. It happened to me only once, which was weird because I was in 9 year. The whole idea with it is though it's totally random. You never know when it's going to happen. But when the CDT team turn up, they're totally independent. You don't know where they are. They turn up, nobody knows, and then it comes over the tannoy. The CDT team is on site. Everyone's locked in. You're not allowed to leave the camp until they get. The
camp was locked down, but they allowed
the camp gets locked down, and everyone there gets the piss taken and tested. It's a compulsory drugs testing team.
But
it's
Harry
to keep soldiers on
the
toes. Yeah, of course he was.
The camp was in complete lockdown, but he was allowed to leave in his Audi 3.
Of course he was. Because this is what I've always told you, Paula. This is one thing we've disagreed on. You're a little bit more idealistic and I'm a cynical prick. But I told you that one rule for you and one rule for us is ultimately one of the only fair criticisms that the Republicans have always had.
Yeah.
By that I mean Republican versus monarchist, not American conservatives.
Yeah.
which I was always a sort of reluctant monarchist, and I hate Republicans and communists. But like the one criticism they always had, which is true, is that a monarchy does lead to a sort of rules-based order being ignored, because they say, one rule for the little people, we don't have to abide by it. So you would expect that kind of thing. And this is what I'm saying. When you're a monarch or a monarchist, you do understand that lends itself to the being sort of bending of the rules, because ultimately it's hierarchical. But conservative-minded people, like both of us really, I mean, myself slightly more than you, conservative-minded people, we have our politics because we aren't idealists. We know that there has to be rules and systems in place. We're much more comfortable with the idea of a hierarchy than a communist or an anti-monarchist. So we'd say, yeah, it's a fair criticism. It does lend itself to that, but it's not the end of the world as long as the monarchs conduct themselves in a good manner, which was the only good argument they really used to make. And I'd say, yeah, hats off. Like, you can't deny that. Like, monarchy works exceptionally well when you have really good monarchs. But when you get a mad king,
you look up to them. Whatever you may say, Queen Elizabeth, even Prince Philip with his gaffes and everything, he was a man's man, like
Prince Philip was sound, yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
He had a horrible childhood. This man had and he wasn't a victim. I hate those. And now we have Harry. I'm a victim. Meghan Markle. I'm a victim. I'm a black victim.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So, like I said, I was always like a monarchist, but I do understand that obviously having a monarchy is inherently hierarchical, so it leads to some corruption. But the whole idea was, yeah, most of the time, as long as they're well behaved, it doesn't really matter. But the problem is when one dies and is replaced by the heir, who you can't do anything about, and that's why even the happy medium, I mean, I can talk about this subject all day because I love history. The happy medium we arrived at with the British monarchy was because the English Civil War was so destructive.
Yeah.
So they arrived at a happy medium because you can't just keep fighting forever. And that's what they'll soon learn in Ukraine. They basically were like, you're not happy because we want to keep the royal family. They're not happy because they want to get rid of it. A happy medium is we keep them as ceremonial figureheads, but we have a parliamentary democracy. That is the happy medium. And it was a good one because it walk that line neatly, because I am well aware of the fundamental issues with a hierarchical system like a monarchy. But you were like, yeah, okay, on the off chance we get a bad one, the powers are curtailed by the system. So that's why it worked. I mean, America would have never went independent if we didn't have a mad king. There was 4 or 5 missteps and a mad king that's totally pissed off the colonials. But to this
George
day,
III. Yeah.
To this day,
but he was literally mad. No, but he was
mental.
Literally mad. No, he was mentally ill for real.
Yeah,
for years and years. This is why, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that's why it doesn't really work, and the happy medium was working all right until we got a wrong un. And now I think we've got a wrong un. And we've got a couple of wrong uns, and you got people like Andrew. And this is what's broke the system, because, as you know, you were well aware of this, being into the whole British royal family. The numbers were crystal clear for decades. The British public was broadly supportive of the monarchy, because you had like 20% of the country that absolutely loved them, 20% that absolutely hate them, and the big 60% were like, just listen, it's fine the way it is.
It is.
We were happy with the monarchy. But
when everybody liked the Queen, everybody respected her. That's a great word.
Yeah.
And this is the word. People respected her, even if you didn't like. Even people from Republic, they respected her. When she died, they were all upset, when she died and stuff like that. So, but it's something that I'm watching, and I'm looking, and I also look at Keir Starmer just now and everything that's come out with the Epstein files. Well, all the royal households are involved. Because you see, and this is one of the dangers of royalty with people like Jeffrey Epstein, because he knows that royals go to places and they get access that politicians don't.
Of course.
And apparently, like for example, this Mette, apparently she was pregnant with Epstein's kid, because one of the emails says, so she wants to keep your baby now.
Mental, isn't it? Who knows how many kids he had? There's some really sick shit going about, isn't there?
What do you make of it, though? Do you think that anything is... And now Peter Mandelson? Oh!
The real problem is, though, My missus has been reading them all enthusiastically, and I can tell it's making her extremely jaded and miserable. Like, she's like, men are scum. And I'm like, it's not all men. It's just a sort of 10% of men that are degenerate perverts. 1 in 10 men are perverts. Well, 1 in 10 women are completely off the tits. So we're about equal, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah, it's true. Absolutely. I mean, and the list. Apparently, your boss was in the emails too, like something where he had a dinner. It just came out with a picture with him and Mark. I can't stand Mark Zuckerberg. I like Elon, but I can't stand Mark Zuckerberg. That guy.
Well, Elon never went to the island, did he?
No, but he wanted to. Apparently, he was too boring to be invited.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why he never went there. Maybe they went, this guy, I don't think he's a pedo. I think he's just a bit horny.
Or just a weirdo, because I do believe that he has Asperger's,
Oh yeah, Deepak Chopra. I mean, there's another wrong one. He's a proper wrong.
You mean Meghan Markle's spiritual guru?
I've always thought he was a wrong one. Another sex pest Indian. Like, there's loads of them. I don't know why it's slightly higher in there. Well, again, actually we do, don't we? It's cultural difference. It took thousands and thousands of years to arrive at the stuffy, boring, undersexed Anglos. Those lot haven't got the memo yet, so they're actual sex pests, are the loads of them. I seen a story a couple of weeks back about an English woman who went to the dentist. It's cheap to get your teeth done in India. She's blonde, and she went to a dentist in India. And because the word spread in like the village that there was a blonde white woman in the dentist, there was an angry mob of about 600 guys just formed at random outside. They're like, oh, nice one. We can all sexually assault this woman who's in the dentist's chair. So the dentist had to barricade the door, and she ended up having to jump out the back window, which was high, and then run away. But she messed her ankle up, and she said, my ankle's knackered and I'm going to need to get surgery. And I was that close to getting rogered by 500 Indians. Like, it's mad how they just form mobs. But this is what I was telling you about, this cultural thing. The real horror from the Epstein files is the amount of people who are happy to turn a blind eye to it when they know it's going on. And it reopened the wounds for the English people about the grooming gangs in the UK, because they all knew about it. And the maddest thing about it is Rupert Lowe just started his inquiry last week, so it's all merged together in nice timing. And he was saying how, like, it's staggering to me how all of them are in on it. Like, if you're a Pakistani in England, either you were in a grooming gang, or you personally know someone who was in a grooming gang, or at best, you were aware of one nearby and you never said anything about it. Like, they're all in on it because it's a cultural thing. The leaks from his story were staggering. Did you watch any of them? There was an interview from Rupert Lowe's grooming gangs inquiry. It's been going on.
No, I can't stomach those things. They get me so angry, to tell you.
I won't go into detail, but the dad was there. One of them said, he separated with the mother. He wasn't around at the time, and now he's got all the story off his daughter. And she said she'd be trafficked up and down the country. They'd be driving from Bradford to Birmingham, London, and he said she would be shared between 40 or 50 men a night, and the whole family joins in, because under their culture, and this is what I'm saying about how there's no such thing as universal human rights, because there's no such thing as a universal human. It's an alien culture that stupid middle-class white Western women can't possibly understand until they hear it, like from the horse's mouth like this. Because what transpires is, because they view them as being completely worthless because they don't share their religion and faith and tribe, the whole family are in on it, to the point where he was saying he'd tell her, oh, you have to bring a few friends tonight because my uncle and my brother and my dad are coming. And like the women would drive the men round. So he'd say, oh, we're all going to rape this child. And his brother, his granddad, his uncle, and his dad are all coming round in a minivan with the sister-in-law driving it. Like the entire. So this is what I'm saying. Culturally, it's acceptable to these people. And obviously, that's why they've meshed quite neatly with the Epstein files, because that's the same thing. To the ultra-rich and powerful, they view poor working-class street urchins as trash. Like they have no possible, even slight thought about the morality and no empathy at all. And they're just all of them. So, like I said, those two things happening in the same week, those massive leaks and Rupert Low's huge inquiry, mesh perfectly because what's obvious is this is a cultural thing. To the billionaire corporate elites and the grooming gang Bangladeshi Pakistani Muslim types in the UK, the idea that this is even immoral never enters their heads. They just think this is what we do. We're the rich and the powerful, or the Pakistani, and they are the underclass white trash that we can use however we like, and they don't even think they're doing anything wrong.
That's exactly what I was saying to you when Håkon, the crown prince, he's the equivalent of Prince William, goes out and talks to the press and he says, my priority, he doesn't talk about we should follow due process, respect the law, see where the case goes, and if there are any victims, of course, no mention of victims, because in his head, his priority is Marius, that stepson with his whore wife, who was screwing Epstein since pretty much the entire marriage, because it goes way back. And allegedly she was pregnant with one of his kids, and then there's other emails with her talking about other men. So his priority is no mention of victims or anything. It's us. We have to look for us, because I look after the princess because she looks after me. Where? When? While she's screwing Epstein, or while she was screwing Epstein or these other men? But my idea is like, what that really encapsulates that they don't think of anybody else other than themselves. And they are so, it's gone to their heads. They're so arrogant that they don't even, because when he was saying is like, don't you guys get it? Are you guys stupid? I have to look after my own flock.
It's crazy. Well, and Fergie was in him one. Have you heard about Fergie? She was telling him she loved him. Fergie was telling Epstein she loved him.
She wanted to marry him?
Yeah, because he's rich. Because she is a shameless self. I told you, she's just another Meghan Markle.
Oh,
shameless,
2.0.
Desperate for money.
Yeah, Meghan Markle appeared now in the Epstein. I said many times that Meghan Markle didn't appear before 2016 because she was a D-list irrelevant woman. But now she's starting to appear. And also her name was misspelled. They spelled it without the H. So you had Meghan. So this is why when people were looking for her name, so Meghan wouldn't come up. But we have all Epstein, he's infiltrated all the politicians, all the royal households, powerful men. And you know what really bothers me? There's this guy who created this show called Bones or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And he goes and he says, he just apologize. Oh, I didn't know that he was that bad. I knew he was a convicted sex offender of minors, but I didn't know he was that bad. But then you have the emails. And in the emails, they know he was this bad.
Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do.
It's like Bill Clinton. Oh, do you think Ghislaine Maxwell's going to make it live tomorrow? She's supposed to give a testimony tomorrow.
I don't know. I think it's been long enough now. They'll have got to a warn and made whatever deals, slippery deals, threatened whoever they need to. Don't think they need to rub her out.
Well, Bill Clinton is going to testify and Hillary Clinton is going to testify. They're going to testify in separate dates.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Well, I wonder if they'll ask Hillary if she personally got Epstein in a headlock and choked him to death. Remember the memes of Hillary Clinton going around where she's behind Epstein, killing him. It's like, the CCTV's been leaked from the cell. It's like Hillary behind Epstein going, killing him.
I just don't know what the hell's going to happen. Now, what do you think is going to happen in England at the moment with everything? Because I'll tell you something. Farmers are angry. People are really, I can sense a level of true anger. And I think that the tone deaf of people, because they took it too far. These stupid people like Charles and Stammer, they should have left it at a certain point, but then putting people in jail for posts and stuff like that, while you have all these people knifing, young kids and arping women. And
yeah, we've had enough. We've had enough, haven't we? People are enraged. I'm going to end up being a trendsetter because they've always took the piss out of me, because on my channel, I don't do serious political discourse. I'll spend, like my stream yesterday, I was just spending an hour trolling politicians on Twitter, just going on to like Anna Soubry's channel and saying, you withered husk, you hag. You know
That's
exactly
like
what you're
part
doing.
of the life I was laughing.
No, but this is what I'm saying though, because to me, they call us names all the time.
Oh yeah.
Every time we say anything, they just go, racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe, bigot.
Closed-minded.
That's just
Closed-minded.
name calling. So when they say that, I go, okay then, fatty. How's that sound? You look like if you cut yourself shaving, marshmallow foam comes out, fatty. How does that sound? Because that's all they're doing. So I don't generally do serious political discourse. I just give them what they give me. Because that's my whole focus. I'm trying to convince the masses that this is what they're doing. When they're
But it's
talking to us, they
insane,
just
man. It's
insult us.
insane. But it's insane. It's like you know what it is? It's like I never knew what the word gaslighting. And then, of course, and then it makes sense, right? And then it's like we're looking at it and it's like they're saying, no, your eyes are lying, your ears are lying. You're close-minded because you don't accept these gang rapes, or whatever.
Unbelievable. This is
You're
what I mean.
insane because you don't accept Islam, and we're gonna, By the way, Charles just is hosting banquets, state banquets. Do people know they're eating halal food?
I know. I'd take a packed lunch to a state banquet. They'd all be there with a silver service, and I'd pull out like a Greg's sausage roll and say, "You're all right, I'll just eat this shit."
Sandwich.
Yeah, I'd be like Patrick. I'd take my hat off and have a marmalade sandwich underneath it. I'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm not eating that shit."
Like the Queen. This is why I like the Queen, because the Queen was a Christian woman. It's like this is a Christian country. She was a proud head of the Church of England.
Can I interject on the chat, right? Because I want to have a go on one of these woke retards in the chat, right?
What did they say? I'm dyslexic, so I don't know which one.
Two of James is having a go saying, "Whoa, like Trump's a king," and they're whinging about Trump and saying, "Why does Matt like Trump?" So I want to explain that, right?
Hey, please go for it. This is your channel, buddy.
The idea that Trump is a king, this no kings protest, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because legitimacy in a democracy comes entirely from the people voting for the person that they feel best represents their interests. And as you well know, I'm still a registered Democrat, because when I got my citizenship, I've considered myself a Democrat. I held my nose and voted Republican for the first time ever, voting for President Trump in the last election. And let me tell you, more than anyone I've ever voted for in my 46 years of life, has Donald Trump actually stuck to what he said he was going to do. The British election, they all print a manifesto that promises you all these things, and then as soon as they get into power, they do the opposite of what they told you they were going to do. So not only is Trump demonstrably not a king because he won the popular vote and every swing state by a landslide, not only is he demonstrably not a king, he's done a better job of sticking with his manifesto commitments than any president in American history. Because you can say what you want about ICE being clumsy, but what you can't say is Trump didn't, on a daily basis for about 10 years, tell us that the real core of his platform was getting into power, deporting millions of illegal immigrants that were let in by Joe Biden on purpose when he collapsed the border unilaterally. That's behaving like a king. The American people have never signed off on open borders, left or right, Republican or Democrat. And when he got into power, Biden, and within a week, you were getting 1 million immigrants a month. Yeah. That's acting like the king. Trump told everyone for months, I am going to install the border, I'm going to build the wall up, and I'm going to deport.
Wall, the biggest wall.
Best wall in the world, best wall in the world. And I'm going to deport millions of people. That's what he said. And he told us time and time and time and time again. He told us 1,000 times. So don't fucking tell me now, oh my God, he's doing exactly what he told us all he was going to do. Yeah, he's got a mandate. He's got a rock solid mandate.
I just got to stop you a little bit here, because Obama, before Trump, was the biggest. They used to call him chief in the porter or something like that, the porter in chief, because he deported so many people. And when he was asking a straightforward 60-minute interview, if he felt guilty separating children from the family, he says, well, they gotta go.
Yeah. It's got a rock solid mandate. And I'm an immigrant, but I came here legally. Trump's never been against legal immigration. Trump said if you want to come to America as an immigrant, you join the queue. What's wrong with that? I'm an immigrant and I'm like, ice, ice, baby. I demand more ice. I'm playing vanilla ice 24/7. I came here legally. I paid the fees. I did the interviews. I did the medicals. I got fingered by a nurse to come to America. So make them do it.
Did you like it? At least was it?
Yeah, it was the only good bit of the process. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So it's preposterous. And again, good point there by Maria. Obama deported millions. Biden deported. I had an argument with my mother-in-law about it, and bless her, for one of the first times in history, she actually went, "Oh yeah, that is a good point." She was like, "Oh well, you know, he hasn't got a mandate to do this. It's disgraceful." I said, "Listen, he told us he was going to do it. And he won the election easily. So, of course, he's got a mandate." She went, "Oh, yeah, but there's no need to be as aggressive as he was." And I said, "How do you think Biden, Obama, Bush and Clinton deported people? Do you think they turned up in like a big pink bus and went, 'Come on, boys, get on the gay bus and we'll drive you off'?" And they went, "Nice one." And they all got on and they just left. I was like, criminals don't leave willingly. If criminals did as they're told, there wouldn't be fucking criminals. The only way to get them out is to round them up, throw them on a bus and fucking drag them south of the border. And now all these retards are going, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's doing exactly what he told everyone he was going to do." That was his mandate for mass deportations is rock solid. So all the only people who
the UK could benefit from from that, you know,
1,000 times over. The UK, I wish we had a tenth of the strength that Trump's got. We need to throw them all out, millions of them. And the UK government is obfuscating the point. They say, "Oh yeah, you might have surprise sexed and beaten up 6 children, but we can't deport you because, you know, you've lived in England for a few years." It's ludicrous. Trump is doing the right thing. He's got a rock solid mandate for it. He told us all he was going to do it, and he's doing it. That's not acting like a king. That is a democratically elected, surprisingly honest thing he did. I mean, Trump lies. They all lie. All politicians lie. But one thing you can't slag him off for is ICE, because the one thing he definitely didn't lie about is immigration. He told us 1,000 times in a 10-year period, "I want to deport a shitload of people." And then he gets in and starts doing it and they go, "Oh my God, no kings." It's fucking juvenile.
No, that Harry called him a king. You have an unelected king. This idiot who uses a prince title, and I don't even know why his ass hasn't been deported, to tell you the truth.
No, me either. The ginger prince, I'd give him a Burger King crown and say, "There you go, prince. You can be first fucking chair on the plane out of this country." I'd drop him off in Guatemala and say, "Fuck you, you can..."
Honduras is worse.
Yeah. Hitchhike.
Guatemala is very civilized. Honduras, you have a problem there. But it is something that I was really looking at, and it's, I don't know what's going to happen because the DOJ came and said that they're not going to prosecute anybody in the Epstein files. So what's the point of fucking releasing the files to begin with?
I know. Well, it's all bollocks, isn't it? It's all, ultimately the powerful will protect themselves. We might not get full justice, but we can get some attempt at it. Whatever. I'm sure it'll be a whitewash. Unless something changes, we'll never really get it.
People are making it sound, Matt. Oh my God. Andrew lost his titles. Poor baby. That's punishment enough. Lord Mandelson, this top diplomat, Monayul, she lost her job. You know, Peter Mandelson. Now the police is investigating. And this is one of the things that I tell people. Okay, I work with this thing. I know this firsthand. Royalty, especially senior royals, wherever they go with security. There's a security protocol. The government knows. The government knew where Andrew was. In fact, they even, what's his name? Epstein house bodyguards a whole week for Andrew in his personal. Yeah. So they report to security. There's security checkups where they go. The UK embassy is involved. All embassies from all the royal houses are involved. In some cases, the ambassador goes and meets the royal, even for private visits. You know, so like that stupid Eugenie, she got engaged in Nicaragua, December 2017. The British consul phoned my friend's restaurant 2 days because they spent the 31st of December there, right? The New Year's. The British consul called my friend's restaurant to make a reservation. And then they had VIP, the diplomatic and royalty police and VIP police come and sweep the place. In spite of the fact that she was not a working royal, she was on a private holiday, and yet The British consulate was involved in organizing her whole thing, and the private security was being aided by their country security. And this is all paid by taxpayers, guys. So they know, everybody has known where they were going, that they were seeing this guy. Do you think, I just found out that what's his name, Epstein, had like 4 dinners. He was literally saying, I'm having a dinner. I am organizing a dinner at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're all in on it, aren't they? So, as I said, maybe they got so arrogant, the scum that rule the world, they got so arrogant and convinced they can get away with what they want. Maybe this will bring down the monarchy for good. Maybe this will be the nail in the coffin. Because, like I said, people like me were always reluctant monarchists. But now we've had enough. Deny and obfuscate and don't apologise. It doesn't work anymore because of the monstrous shit we've read in those leaks. So you might not get justice in the short term because there'll be a whitewash and they'll rig it and the system will protect itself like it always does with the rich and the powerful. Hence, Clinton isn't in jail. But it is what it is. Maybe in the long term we'll get some justice. We just have to take it. Yeah.
Well, and with that, we wrap up with Matt. And you went too long without coming to the channel, buddy. You have to come back again. No, I know.
Shout me on WhatsApp though, and I'll be around.
I'll make time. Because I've been watching you. And just before you go, do you think Macron is going to go ahead with the lawsuit against Candace now that it's come out he's gay?
I think he might not, because I think it'll. The best thing they can do is ignore people like her because it gives them more sunlight, doesn't it? If the more column inches they have to denote to her, the more it'll piss him off. So I think maybe he'll just quietly drop it. He's got a lot of skeletons in his closet, hasn't he?
He showed up with those glasses. That was really weird.
Yeah, he's got a lot of bones in his closet, and his wife's got one big long bone in her knickers.
Maybe she bitch slapped him again. That he's wearing glasses. Even Trump made a funny joke about it. Did you see Trump kind of dissed him a little bit with the glasses? He goes, that was so funny. Well, thank you for coming, Matt.
All right, thanks for having me, Paula. I'll see you around. Keep in touch. See you later.
Bye, gorgeous. Well, that was Matt, beautiful people. Please go subscribe to his channel. Let's get him to 100,000 subscribers, please, please, please. He's a dear friend of the channel. He's funny. He's entertaining. He's a proper veteran, 5 tours. I think we can all go subscribe to his channel and get him to 100,000. And I want to say thank you for coming to the channel. Thanks for watching the videos, because my videos have been heavily suppressed by YouTube because I've been hitting hard the topics of whistleblowers. I just did a video exposing Meghan Markle's from a Soho House insider and a proper supermodel who was around and witnessed everything. And I appreciate you coming always here, and go check my Andrew Lowney and subscribe to Andrew Lowney. He's got the Andrew Lowney Report, and Matt the Angry Bootnik. His channel is Angry Bootnik. So please go subscribe. Thank you very much, beautiful people, and I'll see you later. By the way, I'm going right now to Sean Atwood. We're going to do a live right now. So join us there in Sean Atwood. I'm going to be with Ron. Bye-bye, guys.